Good day, everyone, and welcome back to this lecture. This discussion will be an additional add-on to our previous discussions related to the final payment certificate. This discussion will specifically address the case in the event where the certificate number 6 at practical completion was paid late. So wherever there's a late payment, there's going to be default interest to be calculated. And according to this JBCC, default interest is calculated at 6% above the ruling rate of interest. So if the ruling rate is, in this case, 5.5, and that is the rate at which the Reserve Bank borrow money, so we add another 6% on top of that. Remember, when we calculated the compensatory interest, it was just a straight calculation. We didn't add the 6%. So let's assume in this case that the certificate 6 was paid late. The due date for certificate 6 was on the 6th of June 2018. The contractor is paid on the 15th of June. So the payment was made late. And remember now, we're busy with the final payment certificate number 7. So its time has lapsed. We're almost looking at 90 days after practical completion. So we have to determine and calculate now the default interest on the late payment of certificate 6. So if you look at the calculations for default interest, we will start off with the value of the check excluding VAT. Very important. If you go to your certificate number 6, you'll find the value there of 228,833 Rand. That is the value of certificate 6 excluding VAT. So the contractor received that value on the 15th, and he was 9 days late. So let's apply the calculation. It's the value of the check excluding VAT, times it by the interest. The repo rate is 5.5, plus then the default interest of 6%, so it's a total of 11.5% in this case. Times it by the 9 days being late, so that's 9 days is now calculated as from the 6th, or the 7 rather, to the 15th of June. So that gives me 9 days. So that gives a value there of 648 odd Rand. And now from that day, from the 15th of June, right up till the payment due date of certificate 7 plus 14 days to pay. That adds up to 85 days. So the contractor is going to wait another 85 days to receive that 648 Rand. And that adds up to 85 days. So again, if you look at the calculation here, it is June, the balance of 15 days, because I've added the 9 days already in that calculation up till the 15th. So there's still another 15 days remaining from June, July, August. The 25th is the actual due date for payment certificate number 7. And then we add 14 days to pay, and that gives me another 85 days. So in this calculation, for the interest, in others, this 70 Rand is actually interest on interest. So it's the interest of 648 Rand, times it by the interest of 11.5, times it by the 85 days. And that gives me 17.38 Rand, a total of 666 Rand and 26 cents. Now, people here, you'll note that in our module, we've done a payment certificate at practical completion. In this case, it was certificate number 6. The contractor moves off site. we finalize the final account and issue the final payment certificate, in this case, payment certificate number 7. In practice, the JBCC actually asks us or stipulates that the principal agent should, on a regular basis, issue a payment certificate, even if it's a zero amount. Now, you'll find yourself in practice that every month after practical completion, you'll have to issue a payment certificate. So for our purposes, for this module purposes, we didn't issue a monthly payment after certificate 6. I've just handled as a practical completion certificate and then cater for the final payment certificate almost 90 days after practical completion. All right, I hope you understand this calculation, that the default interest is from the practical completion due date right up till the due date for payment for the certificate 7, the final payment certificate, in this case, certificate 7. So that was the calculation for the default interest. So if we go back to our payment certificates, let's look at your payment certificate number 7. Everything is actually the same as before, except that you're going to insert the default interest where applicable. So in this case, we add the default interest payable to the contractor, and everything is still the same as before, as we've discussed it under the previous lecture for certificate number 7. Again, the recovery statement, we're going to insert a default interest. Remember, there's two categories here. There's amounts due to the employer, and there's amounts due to the contractor. So default interest is due to the contractor. And we've also added in previously the compensatory interest. As we said already and discussed, that you'll have compensatory interest added to the final payment certificate as a norm. The default interest in this case was the late payment of certificate number 6. The notification to the nominated subcontractors, there's nothing to be changed. The same for the subcontract payment advice. Nothing to be changed. So the main change in this case is the add-on to the compensatory interest on the main payment certificate, as well as the recovery statement, the add-on for the default interest. Up to this point now, people, we've come to the end of our module discussion. We'll take it further from here in the next discussions to follow. We'll meet again.